Oh, hello, and welcome back to the Hooncorp Australia NZ Endurance, the PS5 series at Season 3. And we've had a wonderful qualifying session, an incredible qualifying session, a wet qualifying session on Friday. Commentators today for the 4 hours of Kyalami Round 5. It'll be myself, George Cook, and joining me in the commentary box once again, the man, the myth, the legend himself. It is Mike Howe for Hooncorp.
Hey George, hey, thanks for having me, mate. Yeah, what a big night Friday night was, and boy, we saw some very interesting weather play out, and let's hope it stays nice and dry there for at least the start here at Kyalami. But boy, out of the winds and the sun came the rain, and I think all the drivers did well to actually get to the qualifying as they did, because virtually nobody had done any setup. So George, we're cracking in, we're ready, we're locked and loaded, and not too far away before we start the 4 hours at Kyalami in South Africa.
Exactly, and on display today will be Mike Howe's incredible South African accent. He taught me some tricks yesterday that I might try and get under my belt, and hopefully I'll be a little bit better. Out there at the moment looks to be relatively sunny. We'll get to the weather shortly. Here are the qualifying results from Friday night. Jeesh, with that incredible lap, Mike, was just something else.
Yeah, he just pulled that out of the box. I mean, watching the top 10 shootout wind its way through, and then to be the last car standing and go out and do such a phenomenal job. And of course, he's up against, arguably one of New Zealand's best sim racers, Simon Bishop, Dog, and to come through, I mean, he doesn't sound like a very emotionally excitable sort of guy, but I think he was very proud of himself for putting that together, because we did a post-race interview with Jeesh, and he was very philosophical. Oh, yeah, did okay and all that, but boy, he did better than okay. Those weather conditions, we were talking pre-race about, the possibility of 139s during the course of the fast qualifying, and I think in the end we're in the 146. That's how much the rain had ruined things here, George. So yeah, just a great sign. Lots of who knows what to come from this very, very daunting circuit, George. It's a lot of technical. There's a lot of technical in this one. It's a very fast circuit, but boy, there's some real technical sections in there, isn't there?
Cars are getting lined up and getting ready to go, and of course that means the excitement level is only set to increase from this point. 60 seconds ticking down. It is 36 degrees Celsius on the track, 28 degrees Celsius in the air, so it's hot, it's steamy out there in South Africa. Optimum conditions, no rain on the forecast at the moment, and no wind, and 4 hours ahead of us, Mike.
Yeah, we've got a 30-minute forecast, and we'll hope that it's going to stay, with a little bit of clear conditions as we count down less than a minute before we get the cars rolling around the track. And, are you going to make a call on this one, George? Have you got a favourite or a non-favourite or someone who's going to do well? Put you what's on the block. It's okay.
Really tricky, isn't it? No, well, it's tricky. I think everyone in chat will agree. Let us know who your favourite driver is today. I think, honestly, Jeesh has got a good shot at this one. The Aston Martin's strong, and especially if we do get some weather today, we know how strong that Aston Martin will be in wet conditions. The question is it going to stay dry all the way through? Because Simon Bishop will be quick in the drive, Viper Z will be quick, Twitchy will be quick. We've got Jono Stan in the 96 car, just behind them in 5th position. 2 mandatory stops today as well, Mike, so we've got to remember that. And in addition, here's some stats for everyone. 22 cars on the grid. We've got 43 drivers here at the AUSNZ PS5 Endurance Series, Season 3, Round 5, 4 hours of Kyalami. 7 Mustangs, 4 BMWs, 4 Aston Martins, 2 Mercedes, 2 Ferraris, 1 lonely McLaren, 1 lonely Nissan, who Mike, I'm sure, will be keeping a very close eye on today, and 1 Porsche.
Yeah, and of course Jimbo didn't do the Friday night qualifying, so it starts from position 22, and I believe as a solo actor, was rumoured he was possibly going to have a second driver, but I'm pretty sure Jimbo's going to be starting and doing the whole 4 hours by himself. Another Herculean effort. We come down to the final corner here, left-hander of Ingwe, which it just comes upon you so quickly, and then we're on to the start-finish straight after that. So all about the eyes and the concentration, George. We have the lights on at the moment then, and we will see what's going to happen. Are we have concentration? Are we going to have a car park on lap number 1? Well, the question will be answered very soon.
Certainly will be. Here we go. And apologies for the slight weirdness with the UI. Some things going on, and we are green flag racing. 4 hours of Kyalami starts now. OP Twitchy in the Mercedes, looking to try and grab that inside line. Wants to dive early on, down the inside line into turn 2 we go, and Simon Bishop around the outside at the moment. He's got a decent run there, but Jeech is on that inside line. He's got a nose ahead, but they're side by side as they head through the S's, the Juk Sky sweep, and now to Brai. We are in there, and Jeech is in there in the first place. Fantastic stuff so far from Jeech. He's held on beautifully. Tricky to do that early on in this race. Sidog slips into P2. OP Twitchy up ahead of Matt Danetti. And in behind there, I believe we've still got the team that had speedy tyres put themselves right up at the beginning of this race. On track, 96 is still in 5th position, and Morton Nick for the 369 car in 6th position, followed by Norm, Ikatosh, Markle in 9th place, up 1 position already. And then it is Naked Blade of the 407 McLaren, who's done a fantastic bit of work off the line. Then it's Al Dusty Hainsey and Nismo Nath down in the bottom part of the grid. I tell you what, Mike, very, very clean start. Everyone who voted is absolutely wrong. No car park so far on lap 1, but it's not over yet.
No, not at all. But right at the back of the field there was some dancing around. There were a few jostles for positions, but at the front of the field, that's really what we want to see. It's keep nice and clean, because we know the concertina will come from problems. And I look back at right at the back of the field, someone pointing the wrong way at the moment too. So we'll have to see what that's all about a little bit later on. In the meantime, front of the field, they look like they're keeping it all together. And everyone's trying to work themselves, have a little bit of a jostle, coming down the start finish there with Jeech really kicking into action there beautifully. In fact, it's the 667 car right at the back there that's leading the rear of the field. He's the one that had the spin. But front of the field though, Jeech, look at him go, just driving beautifully. Go back to a few of the cars here with Sidog half a second behind him. Then we've got Twitchy there in 3rd place, another 3/4 of a second behind them. So I've got to say, unfortunately, the pole on the car park on lap number 1, there were bumps, there were scrapes, there was just recently been a spin, but I think you're going to say that no one's going to get the free Moro bar on that one. In the meantime, though, geez, no free Moro bars.
we do not give out Moro bars for free. It's no Mars bars here, no nothing. Absolutely not. And yeah, we have this battle going on in 5th place as well. Jono Stan trying to catch up, or keep ahead, I should say, of a Morton Nick who's been right on his back. Then we got Norm for BCG2 trying to make up early positions. Needs to get ahead as soon as possible because he's got 2 Fords ahead of him and wants to be in that slipstream. Doesn't want to let Jono Stan get outside of the slipstream range of Viper Z. Not big slipstream here, Mike, but down the main straight, you're going to need a whiff of it. The 667 car, of course, that was Black Falcon. They've had a bit of a shocker to this one, but, Mike, arguably a bit of clean air.
Yeah, they have got that strategy they can play out now. If you know, clean air helps them, obviously tyre and fuel, and you know, I think Nismo was saying it's an hour 10 maximum you can do in a stint anyway, and they're saying the Aston will actually go to the hour 10 without a problem on fuel from their side. I hope they haven't given anything away, and I'm sure most of the other drivers are the same. But I do apologise. I was going to shout out to everyone who's actually tuned in and listening, because we had a great response on Friday night. Where are you listening from? Where are you watching from? Whereabouts in New Zealand? And whereabouts in Australia, whereabouts around the world? Have we got any people listening in other than New Zealand and Australia? Just do this quickly, because we are trying to get into a settlement mode here, but we also value every single person that's tuned in through the different medias.
Wonderful overtake by John from Cave Racing, the number 88, centered up the top of the hill at Learcop. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Now he's attacking the 407 McLaren of Naked Blade just ahead of him, so looking to get himself and that Mercedes team up into the top 10, and the McLaren trying to defend as much as possible. Absolutely our pleasure. Oh, we've got a car off in the background. Who was that? It was Nathan. Nathan Howe has gone off in the background at Cheetah. I think he came off okay from it, managed to rejoin beautifully, has avoided contact with Metal Steel as well, but that's an early unfortunate mistake from him and drops him a couple of positions as well.
Yeah, not ideal. Won't be too chipper about that. The Under's 16th place, but that's all right. The young fella, you'll come back from that one. The great state of Melbourne or Victoria. Sounds like Wilco's pretty tired.
Indeed.
Hey, look, it's getting really good, guys.
It's getting spicy as well, Mike. Oh dear, look at P8 and 9. It's currently on the main screen. Keep an eye on it. 77 has had a massive accident, and looks like the 88 was involved in that as well. No, I think they've crept on through. So a whole bunch of changes to the field, through into the S's. They were 3 wide into the braking zone and into the left-hander. You don't want to be there. It does look like, I don't want to report there, it does look like the 407 McLaren was also involved, so keep an eye on the main screen at the moment, chaps. because a lot is going on in this race, and boy oh boy, that 407 has dropped miles out of the way. They were holding in the top 10. They've just accidentally, I believe, forced a BMW Y, that's a 667, getting an opportunity to overtake but not executing on it, unfortunately for them. So that moves Al Dusty up to P2, and guess what? Jimbo is up from P22 to 14th position, Mike.
Unbelievable. Go the mighty R35, but of course we can't be biased, but I'm in the same man, and there's only one on the track, so guess who I'm supporting. But go on your Jimbo there from 22nd. You're dead right there, George. But, you know, look, we start to get a little bit of, I was about to say we're starting to settle. You know, we're 6 laps into this one, and we've started remarkably well, but there's a little bit of hip and shoulder through the field, and this isn't where you want to be. Look and see how it plays out. But second place is decided. Then we go back to Twitchy and the Mercedes and the 726 car back in third place. Norman, the BMW and the 76 up to fourth place here, doing a great job there. And of course, John O'Stan and the Mustang rounds out the top 5 for the BCG3 team. So, and only half a second behind Norm, but Norm's actually 8.5 seconds behind third place Twitchy. So there's certainly some action there to come, and that looks like it's going to be a decent little battle pack, that one, with Norm, John O'Stan, Vaporized and Morton Nick, because within the 4 of them there's about 2 seconds. So that's a pretty decent little place.
Here we go, main screen once again. We've got Jimbo making a small mistake. It's going to allow Metal Steel to come on through and find his way into, I believe, 11th place as they head through Sunset. No, he's taking the inside line. The inside line was where Jimbo lost the position at Bray. And now Nismo Nath is trying to make his way back up into this battle pack. A little bit of contact with the rear bumper of the Ferrari, and he's got the Ford of VTEC Adam right in behind him, the number 57. So all these drivers now trying to fight tooth and nail to eke these positions out. It's a battle pack of 6 cars at the moment. Up the hill we go. Inside line defense for the number 100. Nathan wants to try around the outside for the Hooncorp team, and Aston Martin gets the power down very nicely. So he is going to get a good run down the hill through Mineshaft and into the Crocodiles, where the braking zone will be to his favor because he'll have the inside line. He'll have to be brave from Metal Steel to hold that position around the outside. Does decide better of it and wants to switcheroo, but Nathan's right on the apex, and that is a clean overtake for the Hooncorp 137.
You know, and if you're looking at your screens and you see the names and the number of the car, and then it's got 2 in the golden thing, that means how many pit stops they still have yet to do as a mandatory part of the system there. So they do need to do, when they do it, it'll go down to 1. They do another one, it'll disappear. So, you know, there's a lot of things to take into account, George, with these cars. But Jeesh, in the meantime, couldn't give a flying rat's backside about that, because where is he? 3.2 seconds in the lead in the mighty Aston Martin at the moment. And this battle behind them, which is a few spots back, the boys are absolutely going at it, aren't they? I mean, you can see that they're all bang on the line, and you can see John there in the Cave Racing car back in the Mercedes, right up on the back of Vaporized in the BCG4 car. So, you know, this is a close little scrap. It's one of the closest ones we've got on the track at the moment. 3.3 of a second between them, and Vaporized and needs to watch out, otherwise the old Mercedes might ingest them and spit them out, literally vaporizing them on the track as they get themselves down into this very complex right-hander. My word, it's 11-12 laps completed already, and it's just a sight to behold. You know, the boys are starting to settle down. We've got a bit of a rhythm going there. And
there might be another very similar livery out there on track, and he's going to try the move into turn 2, dives down the inside line. Is there going to be a switchback? There's contact between the two as Vipers tries to get the switchback on the Mercedes, but it's a nice standard overtake for the Mercedes down into turn 2.
Very close racing going on, George, and that is a very determined Mustang with the Cave Racing John car. You just heard a shout out there from the team saying that Cave Racing are doing a cracking job.
Here we go.
That's exactly what we've got.
Oh, sunset overtake, and the sun sets on Norm's hold on 4th position. That is now with Cave Racing, and John has been doing a fantastic job so far. I mean, the number 81, which is actually the number 88, which is actually the number 81, is confusing the living daylights out of us at the moment. But I tell you what, that was a monumental overtake, clean as anything. Got the run through Barbecue, so through Bry, I should say.
Right.
And once he got out on that straight, boy oh boy, the foot went down. The Mustang Jimbo has come in for his first pit stop already, so a little bit early on that one. But might be looking to get a bit of clean air or just put a bit of distance on the competition that he's in at the moment. So he finds himself now down further in the field, you can see Matt Dinetti now jumping into the 56 car. So a couple of pit stops starting to happen around the field. And that BCG4 pit stop change to put Matt Dinetti in the car is a big one because he will be lightning quick. He's got a 14-second gap ahead of him as we all nearly go 3 wide through the exit there. And I think that is Markle now having a bit of a bad time, bit of a bad run. I don't think he's blue flagged here at all. No, this is for position, and he's got to defend the inside line as Dub True tries to send it around the outside of turn 2, and he's done a very, very good job as he kept it side by side with the Ford Mustang. Yes, he has. He's ridden the curb, and there's nearly a collision there, but great respectful driving between both the 77 and the 137, but the run will be through Bry. The exit of Bry is going to be the place to do it for Dub True. Can he find a way on the exit of Sunset? He'll have to go round the outside as we see Hainsey in behind wanting a piece of that meat as well because the Bry has been strong today. Bit of contact as he sweeps to the right hand side and through Clubhouse we go. He secures the position. I'm not sure how clean you might consider that, but I'd call that racing incident and a nice overtake.
Yeah, that's. I don't know if the marshals will be involved on that one. Sometimes when you go too wide in the corner and you're trying to frantically get yourself back online, it's just it's a wheel rub. But more than that, it was actually quite a decent old hit. I just hope neither of those cars have sustained damage, George. I've got a fearful thought that maybe they have got a little bit of a toe geometry issue. But again, I'm going to stay out of there. I'm not going to go in and have a look as much as I'd love to. But that is a cracking battle, isn't it? And then we see Hainsey there, he's really been a benefactor in that one too, because he's moved up a spot as well past Markle to to actually Markle's dropped back 2 spots. It's great to have a bit of a chuckle, isn't it? But also watching the Apple man, Matt Dinetti, I'm going to call him that from now on, to be fair. He's actually moved up 2 seconds in 15th place. He's actually moved up. He was 8 seconds back behind Hammer in the Mustang. Now he's 6 seconds. So really starting to pick up the pace there, that mighty little machine. So keep an eye on that BMW. In fact, 4.6 seconds now. So it's just continued on as we see more cars coming into the pits, and this is where the rubber's literally going to meet the road. This is Al Dusty and Jono Stan and the Mustangs both coming in at the same time. Not on the unusual thing to see, of course, because similar types of cars, fuel strategies, I guess, playing into that. And Kiwi's in there as well, Flying Kiwi in the third of the Hooncorp cars. So he's in the pits. So it really does start to come down. And one thing I've said before about Simon Bishop, Psydog in second place, strategy will come into this. So how and when they will pit, it will be down. Look, it won't be an accident when they come in. It'll be an absolute reason why. It'll be very methodical, and we'll find out who is going to be the first car who's come out and actually done a pit stop. It'll be the interesting one as we see the leaders still circulating around, because is Dinetti done the right thing? Has he got a chance on this one there? Because certainly he's picked up the pace. In the 15th spot was about 8 seconds. Now he's 2.9 seconds behind Hammer in the Mustang, who has yet, in fact, has just come into the pits now, I see. So that'll be a battle. It's just this battle on screen here. Look at this one go. This is the mighty old Aston Martin having a good scrap there at the moment. Remember, these cars have not pitted yet, and that's Dub True in the 137 car. Is sharing some space there with VTEC Adam and the Mustang, and those two still yet to pit. One thing they don't want to do now, though, George, is slow each other down, because that's a big dive there from Dub True and then this named 137 car. But you don't want to slow each other down now, because we see Norm coming in. I see the pit light has lit up there for Norm and the 76 BMW. So now we're starting to see the heavy hitters change strategy. Well, not change strategy. Now they're playing out their strategy, George. So what's the right thing to do here? Now we'll watch on screen there as VTEC Adams made the inside pass from a little bit of a mistake there from Dub True going wide in the Aston. But George, we are starting to see the heavy hitters doing the pit stops at the moment, and this will be very, very telling on how it's going to come out after the first changeover.
Yep, that's right. It's exciting times as we head to our first set of pit stops for the likes of Norm, for Ikatosh. Jish and Psydog will be close to doing that as well. Will it be another send for Dub True down the inside line at turn 2? It's not. As to your point of slowing each other down, well, if he had held onto the position and not made that mistake at the Crocodiles, well, it would have not been slowing each other down. But unfortunately, that small mistake has meant that the Ford regains the position and Dub True will have to go for it yet again. Well, we are at that hour mark through. We've got 2 hours, 57 minutes still remaining in this race. It's time to talk a little bit about the primary sponsor of our event today. It is Camo Parts, and of course we have a little bit of an advert up here. Do get on the phone to these guys. They're absolutely brilliant up in Whangarei in Camo. Or Carmo, I should say. 579 Carmo Road, Carmo 0112. Not going to be corrected this time. PO Box 4079. Go and check out all of their stuff. The electrical, the lubrication, the 4x4 parts, the tools, supply of all sorts of automotive and performance parts. Check these guys out. They are our primary sponsor today. And of course, you get a 10% off on the discount for store-wide. Even on sale items, use the code Esports at carmoparts.co.nz. No minimum spend, and the offer is valid until 20th of September. Fantastic stuff. At some point, we will also be bringing some people in for interviews as well. So we'll be keeping a close eye on the Discord. And if any drivers or teams want to jump in, we are happy to interview anyone at any point throughout the race. You just have to jump into the waiting room in the Discord, and we'll give you a chance to be broadcast live and tell us how you're better than your opponents.
In these instances of pit stops, George, they get so competitive. The last thing you want to be doing is sit there repairing, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes worth of damage from the last, hour and 10 minutes, and that's not very helpful. And one thing about this format of game too is that you don't, like with some of the PlayStation games, you get damage and 30 seconds later your damage is all gone. You carry that damage right through to your pit stop, and it's your choice whether you actually want to repair it or drive a substandard vehicle for your next stint, isn't it?
That's right, and sometimes you get drivers that just go, you know what, that's not too bad, and they just carry on, get their heads down and continue. I'm certainly one of those drivers. When the car's not that bad, well, just carry on. Why not? Why spend 30 seconds extra in the pit lane trying to repair things? We see Randall losing another position there to cars who are initially ahead of him. He's still yet to pit here, this Porsche, so he is getting eaten up at the moment by the field. I think the big beneficiary of all this has actually been Matt Donetti with the early pit stop there. The 56 car is slicing through the field like a hot knife through Butter at the moment. He's got Barters, the 88 car, who's formerly up in 5th place, right there. So he's done an incredible job to catch up. And overall, with now Immortant Nick in the pit lane, this will be very interesting to see where Donetti and Barters both pop out when Immortant Nick comes out of the pit lane. This is going to be absolutely critical for their race. So let's just see. Still sitting in the pits at the moment. These guys are just coming through. Cheetah. And there will be a send down the inside by Matt Donetti. He is not holding back at all. Every single opportunity he is taking, and he is making overtake after overtake after overtake. Where is Immortant Nick? It was the 369. He's just coming out of the pit lane now, and he's going to have Donetti not too far behind him and on an absolute charge. But just bear in mind that he is on all the tyres and everyone else on the field. So this is going to not swing his way towards the end of the stint. They'll likely have to come in a little bit sooner than the rest of them. Side Dog also in the pit. So now we have one of the big top three starting to make their pit stops. Twitchy, who've been asked for an update on Twitchy by El Staffia. Well, he's having a pretty quiet race at the moment. It's been quick. He is sitting, I believe, at something like 6 or 7 seconds behind Geesh. No, 11 seconds, I should say, behind Geesh. It was Simon Bishop who was sitting 6 seconds behind Geesh. So still out there, still running. They've got about 9 minutes left until the first stint timer elapses. You don't want to get on the wrong side of that because it's a big, big penalty. Got a little bit of traffic ahead of him that will be blue flagged. So Twitchy doing well at the moment in the 726. BSR1 though, Geesh out in front. He's happy days at the moment in the Aston Martin. Got a very decent lead over the rest of his competitors. BCG1 have switched, and Mint Matt is now behind the wheel for this BMW and starts his run through this 4 hours of Kyalami. That sky is looking awfully grey at the moment, and I don't want to curse it, but maybe my rain dance is doing something after all.
Well, you do wonder about you and your rain dances. You seem to like that black skirt a little bit too much, to be fair, mate. I've seen those Instagram photos, and we see the race leader coming into the pits at the moment now. So Geesh, who's done a phenomenal job with 2 hours and 48 minutes left to go in this 4 hour here at Kyalami in South Africa. will come down now and hand over the car, and it will be interesting to see how Mint Matt can come through this one. It's absolutely flying. Also, too, the Apple man, Matt Donetti, who in the 56 car is trying to get himself every road to be a winning road. And we see now the one car there with Mint Matt behind the wheel. We've got to keep an eye on this one. This will be a cracking little battle. Has the Geesh car got any damage at all? I would say, but not. Didn't see any form of contact. That could be one of the few things that actually cost the car. Meantime, Mint Matt is starting to really wind himself through the flip-flops here, coming up towards well, he's still got a ways to go. But just watching in the pits here, I was watching the pits and just seeing how how Captain Muffin now, of course, he takes over from Geesh. You got to wonder how they get these names. I just had a scone before I sat down for commentary. Captain Muffin not too far behind. Of course, that was a very, very decent little gap there. And looks like Matt McEwen in the 726 car has done a cracking job here. Go back to Mint Matt in the 1 car. So McEwen in the 726 up to 2nd place. And Muffin getting himself into position there as well. Yes, he is. So keeps the lead and keeps it very, very well. But the beneficiary here over the pit stops, George, don't quite know how that happened, but Matt McEwen has moved up to 2nd place through the course of the pit stops. And that is an outstanding drive, because there was a fairly decent distance here. But look at Mint Matt in 2nd place. Does he want to lay down and say, I'll sit back in 3rd? Not a chance. He's 0.3 of a second behind McEwen. And we know what these guys are like. And of course, Jimbo's in there as well. Not full position. It was actually a lap down on the skyline. So certainly problems have happened in the R35. He's got to be very careful here, because he will literally come under the blue flag should he pass or try to pass either of these 2 cars in front. But that is a spirited effort there from the Jimbo Skyline. He's keeping right up with these very, very fast running cars. But look at this battle. 2nd place, 3rd place. It's as close as you like. The yellow car, of course, a lap down, so don't read too much into it. Although the talent of Jimbo, he'll be part of this, and there's no reason why he can't have a good crack at trying to map himself, because that's motor racing 101. Can he have a pass? Of course he can. Is he allowed to? Absolutely. But if these 2 catch up to him, it's a different story. The yellow flag. Oh, in fact, he's had a bit of a moment.
There we go. Jimbo is off track. Yeah, I think he clipped the inner curb at the bottom of the hill.
Yep.
It sent him wide, and he's not been able to control it, and oversteer, and then has found himself into that area. So yeah, I was going to say, like, the slipstream that he was getting was going to be really, really helpful, save a bit of fuel behind these 2 chaps. And yeah, he could have overtaken them, but I suspect, 2 cars going at the pace that these guys are at, you'd have to be going, even faster than them to really make that stick. Otherwise, you're going to still be within the 1 second area of the blue flag. Matt McEwen, though, he's saved himself about 5 seconds in the pit stop. But I think actually it's more that BCG1 may have lost 3 or 4 seconds in that pit stop. I think, just given the gaps that I'm looking at the moment, Matt McEwen's about the same distance behind BSR1, the number 5, as he was when they came into the pits. Whereas Mint Matt and the Side Dog team having a look at the clubhouse. Oh boy, that is close. They are the ones who have really lost time in this. Otherwise, we would have seen Matt McEwen up there within the sort of 7 to 8 second or even 6 second mark from Captain Muffin, who's now got a big job on his hands to keep the gap that he has got at the moment. Matt McEwen going defensive into Learcop and around the outside. Mint Matt will try. He won't succeed because the inside line turns into a double inside line, and down the hill we go again. Matt McEwen showing that he is a master of defensive driving. And welcome into chat, Hayden Marsh. Yes, we're hoping for some rain. We've had the prediction has been rain. Mint Matt trying yet again, but plenty of apex speed there for the Mercedes, but they're going to be side by side heading towards Cheetah. This is dangerous territory. Who's going to blink first? Oh, it's Matt. Matt McEwen blinks first, and Mint Matt does get the position away from him and back up into 2nd place for the number 1 car.
That's the best thing for them, though, because they were slowing each other down with that shenanigans going on. What needs to happen now is settle down. McEwen, sit behind Mint Matt. Just do the laps. Do the laps. As the Nismo Nath 137 car comes and dubbed through, we'll hand over to Nathan Howe, but that's a little bit for later. In the meantime, this front row battle, I mean, this is 2nd and 3rd at the moment. They were slowing each other down. An 8-second gap to Muffin has now become 10.3 seconds because of the shenanigans. And I don't mean that disrespectfully, because that's what drivers do. I don't want to yield on the track here, George, and we're just looking at some of the gaps. There really are some decent numbers there in gaps, and there's some close quarters racing like we're watching on screen at the moment. Half a second an hour and a half for position, and that is between 12th and 13th place there, half a second scrap. So, you've thoroughly enjoyed these, but let's not take away from the quality of the drivers on the field. I think, like you mentioned before in your sim racing real-time driving, you and I can probably do reasonably well. I can put together some decent laps from time to time, being an old fogey, but to actually do it lap after lap, lap after lap, over and over and over, I really have sat up and admired sim racing a lot more in the last few years than I ever did, apart from being a grouchy old man. But when you see a little bit of good sportsmanship come, you see a bump and a scrape and no one crying into their cornflakes about it, then that's not a bad thing as well. I just saw in the background there a bit of a flash of the headlights there from Nismo, who is now behind the wheel of the 137. Boys, I'm coming, and I'm coming fast as quick as I possibly can. Do you mind? Look in the rear vision where I'm here. But
it's a psychological ploy. That's what it is. It's just trying to, from a distance, just apply a little bit of psychological pressure to see if you can knock one of these guys off their pedestal and just see what he can do. The 543, of course, Loose Rear Racing, Camo Parts sponsored team, so they're actually sponsored by Camo Parts. HC Hainsey, Pat Haynes, and then of course HC Lewis, both Hooncorp drivers. Lewis Atkinson, a well-known name across many platforms, as is HC Hainsey. So a really great team. To see these guys battling with another great team, the 407 Cactus Racing, Naked Blade and B John in the McLaren 720S Evo. I don't know who I'm supporting here. I'm a big McLaren fan. I'll support anyone who jumps into a McLaren. It's the only McLaren on the field today. 2 Ferraris on the grid and 1 McLaren. So go the little McLaren that could. But
also, just watching that Water Arrow did to complete the drive-through there and in the Ford Mustang, so I'm not quite sure what caused that. Like you were saying, possibly off-the-track driving infringement or something.
Confirmed, it was track limits, so you get 3 warnings, and then the next one that you violate, you end up getting a drive-through penalty. And they've actually come out in a very decent position. This is being confirmed here by Chief_Boulder in chat. Just saying that the drive-through for track limits and still came out in a decent position, and he's saying God bless short pit lanes indeed, and it is actually quite a short pit lane here today at Kyalami, but he's under pressure. Oh, looks like Nathan had a little look.
And Nismo's trying to poke his nose in there, and it's one of those things you'll be very, very mindful of looking after the car. Nismo, Nathan Howe, my son, is actually very, very keen to pass like anybody out there, but he also drives with a lot of reservation in the back of his mind, almost to the point of a handicap, because he doesn't want to wreck it for Dub True, who's also sharing the drive in there today. And of course, he sees the overall scheme with we're only round 5 of 7, George. There's no point going out there writing off the machinery and getting a terrible result. He's in for the long haul, and with just under 2.5 hours left to go, he will be trying to keep it as clean as possible. Look at the scrap though. Look, we've got 2 really good battles happening within a short space of time. We're not taking away from the leaders, but this is where the rubber is literally meeting the road, and within about 2 seconds, we've got 4 cars in there for positions from, what have we got, from 11th right through to 13th, 14th, 10th to 14th. So this is what it's all about. And Nismo there, he's cracking in the Mustang, but we moved just a couple forward there with Beat John and the McLaren, and HC Lewis and the Loose Rear Racing. I love the name of that team. If you've eaten some plums or a lot of baked beans, nonetheless, they're doing a great job there, and they're having a good battle in 11th place there. So,
I think they're talking about the rear tyres, Mike. Cutting more grass than overtakes or anything else, really, to be honest, except for penalties, which we get many of. The battle continues between P11, 12 and 13, and now Nathan does enter the fray, and it's a true 3-way battle. The McLaren taking the nice sharp inside line through the S's. Let's see what he is able to do. And I was about to make another point there. Oh dear, there's the McLaren has hit that outside curve at the exit of the S's. He's bounced up and down. B. John having a bit of a bad time. He might have a bit of a bad back after that one. Boy, oh boy, that was rough.
I can hear noises from the room at the moment from where those guys are in there, and it's not good noises for the McLaren, unfortunately. And I'll ask the question: has that car got damaged as a result of that bouncy act? Because that was a very violent act. So I'm hoping that's okay.
It may have a little bit. The problem with the McLaren, Mike, is that once you get rear diffuser damage, the car just underperforms, and that right there is rear diffuser damage. How much he's got? Probably a small percentage. I don't think the game punishes you too much with bouncing of the rear car. It's more about contact directly into it. but there may be a little bit of damage there for them.
We're going to end up doing on these cars, after the 4 hours here at Kyalami in South Africa. But then we start looking at some of the other cars here around the track, and it's a phenomenal sight to see that we've got the Aston Martin still in the lead, and still in the lead very well. And then of course we've got the BMW there of Mint Matt not too far behind, 3 seconds behind as well in second spot. Then of course we go Mercedes, BMW, Mustang, Mercedes, Mustang and BMW, and that's sort of how it sort of played out. A couple of Astons in there as well to throw good mix to good measure. At the end of the day, I think everyone was all saying the Aston was the car in the wet weather, but it's looking like BMWs are very strong and they're not so wet. And of course, now we're seeing Mint Matt, who's sitting on about 3 seconds back in second place at the moment. In the one car, there it is on screen, and I don't know. I think the BMW might be that car for the long game, and of course Mint Matt and Psydog teaming up in the one car. This is going to be a very, very interesting little battle. But let's not take away from Geesh and Captain Muffin in the lead car, the Aston, the 5 car.
And that, I believe, is the 37 car creeping up right behind him and looking for an unlap.
Yeah, look, Smitty's back behind the wheel, so Smitty has been not on the track so far. Everything's been done by the teammate. He's been doing the hard work. Now Smitty back behind the wheel. Good to see him in the 37 car. And one thing about this chap, he's a very, very astute person. I alluded to this on the qualifying night on the Friday night about how incrementally accurate this guy is. He takes any slight mistake he makes as an absolute personal insult, and he even said that I put the kibosh on him by pumping him up and talking too positively about him. But you can't take away from Smitty, though. He really is a perfectionist, and we're not going to just live on and eat and breathe about this Aston Martin. Of course, I'm not just saying it from a Hooncorp bias, but when you got someone like this who, no matter who you are in sim racing, he will give you the time of day. He will tell you not so much the full secrets, but he'll give you some really, really good setups, and loves seeing people get involved in sim racing. To the race leader, this is a race for the lead. Captain Muffin in the Aston Martin, who this car has been the race leader pretty much from the outset. In fact, it has been the leader from the outset, and now Mint Matt, who's done a sterling job closing down the gap there over the last massive duration there. So we'll watch with big interest how this battle unfolds, and also if Geesh is going to jump in behind the wheel during this pit stop, which we know is going to be coming soon, or if indeed Captain Muffin's going to stay behind the wheel of the BSR1 car, and of course right behind him is the BCG1 of Mint Matt. We are watching this battle unfold, and this could be a change of position. This is certainly a battle for the lead, and what a cracking battle is at the moment. 0.6 of a second down to 0.3, and Mint Matt is really starting to show a clean set of heels here as we go into this very, very tight complex through the double left-hander. There's the first one taken care of. Now watch for the S's here. This is where you don't want to make a mistake, and Captain Muffin will have to really be on his wits' end, because who's behind you? Well, who's not on first, but who's in second? And that's Mint Matt, and he is doing a brilliant job on this one. They both are. They really, really are. Bearing in mind too that they've had to contend with lap traffic for the duration of their stints, and that is a very, very hard thing to contend with, especially when you're trying to at least match or catch the car in front of you. And watching Mint Matt at the moment, boy, he is driving Mint, and the battle at the moment, I think it's Captain Matt Muffin, and of course Mint Matt back in second place, Matt McEwen in third. Then we've got Jimmy Matchin in fourth place. We'll throw the Matt in there just for those who want to play at home. And look at the scrap now for the lead, though. By crikey, it's 0.6, 0.3, 0.4. It's all over the rainbow at the moment as far as who's moving what. It's like a piano accordion going out and back and out and back. What's it going to be across the line? Still 0.402. Some very, very fast times. And boy, you don't want to be 141.9 was the last lap there for Mint Matt. And now we watch Captain Muffin's response.
So do let us know your thoughts. We're coming up to the point where we're going to see some pit stops, and there we go. Mint Matt has decided, yep, it is time. I'm going to pull this trigger. No longer do we want to be running in the slipstream. It's time to try an undercut. Let's have a little focus on this battle for P6 and 7, because that's TTR West and HC1. These guys are locked in a Pro-Am Championship battle, both on 792 points in the overall standings, and they are now separated by absolutely nothing on track. So Machin hasn't unfortunately been matching his previous performance, and certainly Smithy has tuned things up a number of notches, and now he's bringing the fight here. So if HC1, if Smitty's able to put the car ahead and they're able to stay there for the final 90 minutes of this race, then they will be leapfrogging the TTR Westside team and putting themselves up into the lead of the Pro-Am Championship. So big moments and big stories on track. So Captain Muffin is still in the car, but interestingly, it hasn't been a valid pit stop. So I'm not quite sure what's gone on here. They've still got the fastest lap to their name, but that was not counted as a valid pit stop, so he may have just come in for a splash and dash.
So they haven't changed, have they not changed tyres, which makes it
they
not valid?
They have not changed tyres, yeah, that's right. So it is, here's the rule set for today. 2 mandatory pit stops, 4 tyres. So you can do anything else you want to the car, but if you don't change tyres, then you are in serious trouble. Now, tyres, technically speaking, your tyres can last over 90 minutes. In fact, they can technically be valid up to 100 minutes in this game before they become, you know, completely useless, or you start to risk a issue with the tyres popping. So I think what may be happening here, because if you think about this, if Captain Muffin can make it 20 more minutes, or even another 10 minutes in this stint, they can pit one more time and send Geesh out there for a full 70 or 80 minute stint on fresh tyres, and then they've actually saved time overall in this race because they haven't had to change the tyres twice. They've essentially gained now on Simon Bishop. Let's wait for the delta to come up, but I think it's about 20 seconds or so. Let's have a look, and let's just wait for that, because that's going to be a critical bit of information in a few moments' time. But I think, yeah, 16 seconds. So they've gained 16 seconds on these guys, and yes, they'll be going slower through this stint. But if the stint is only 20 minutes, and then they jump in, throw Geesh in the car, fresh tyres, it means that they've saved essentially an entire tyre change in the overall race, whereas Simon Bishop and the BCG team have done a full tyre change.
Well, the last lap through for Muffin was a 142.7. Now we'll just have a look and see what the BMW does, a 141.9. So that's 0.8 of a second difference. We saw a 17.8 second gap. Now it's 16.7 for the front of the field in this one there, George. So there's no doubt there's a gain coming by way of the BMW, the one car there in second spot. But I tell you, I think you make very, very good sense. I don't like saying this to you often, but I think you're spot on. And if that is the strategy there for the Muffin team in the Aston Martin, it is a brave plan. But as you were saying, if this thing, if those space savers and jelly tyres can hold together for a little bit longer, it might be the smartest strategy. You know, that's
means that he's spent a little bit of extra time out there than he probably needed to, Captain Muffin. But I think at the end of the day, this is a smart strategy. The only issue with this strategy, Mike, is that they will be behind and probably in some traffic for a little while before they can actually make progress. Now, let's have a little look. Make sure that this is all looking correct from our screens. Yes, it is. It's a valid pit stop. They have changed the tyres, and Geesh is now in the car. Where are they going to come out in terms of the track? Well, they've got a bit of traffic ahead of them, but this is clean air. I think this is absolutely a masterclass right now from BSR1.
Watching this battle at the moment between the Aston and the Mustang, my word, Smitty is certainly making his intentions clear about what he wants to do and when he wants to do it, and it's absolutely now. Get out of the way. But again, it's no bullying tactics. Well, of course, bullying is about motorsport, and I say that in a nice way. But you know, this is all about getting himself positioned. I'm surprised I'm not seeing the lights getting flashed at the Mustang at the moment from the Aston Martin. So a great squabble, and considering we're the better part of 3 hours into the race here and 102 laps completed by the leader, that we're seeing these two squabbling out for position on the track and position in the class from round 5 of 7.
Thank you very much for your kind comment. It has not rained. I'm gutted. I can't believe it. But we've got another 29 minutes and 55 seconds to know if we will get a splash of rain at the end of this race. But I'm starting to think that it won't.
And Smitty and the Aston Martin, Machen and the Mustang. I'll tell you what, I'm very impressed with the way they've carried each other there through the course of this battle. And this is actually 5th place there too, I've got to say. They've moved up the ranks, these two. It was 6th and 7th. Now it's 5th and 6th. So this really is a battle worth fighting. And we can see that Chipperton there just jumps out of the way in the Mustang as those two go through. Again, some very good driving standards. The blue flag being obeyed.
Well, I think the other thing to mention about that, Mike, is the qualifying result. So 9th place was HC Smitty. So Smitty is here. He's up 3 positions and fighting against Machin, who, you know, these guys are again, I'll say it again, both in the Pro-Am P1, P2, relative to the order on track at the moment, both on 792 points. Let's see how it works out. Into the pits goes Smitty for his final pit stop of the race. So he's going to peel off this battle and try the undercut. Excellent stuff. We've got El Staffia in chat saying, yeah, Twitchy. So we'll put him on screen for a little bit. Why not? There we go. There's Twitchy and Jimbo, 2 of our favorite drivers here today. And Jimbo just in the background in his Nissan solo driving.
So, you know, this is what it's all about. You've got to think long term. And speaking of long term, the battle before the lead at the moment is down to 14.3 seconds.
Here we go.
It's coming down.
Oh my goodness, this is fantastic stuff. I mean, it will come down to the wire, 14 seconds. So Matt has decided to put his foot down. It's time to use what's left in the tires. It's time to do those qualifying-esque laps and get that down, because it's now 14.3 seconds. And he's got to close in this gap and then make the overtake if he has any chance of winning. We have back to the action. There's a yellow on track, and it is the 787 car.
Yes. Oh, and there he is there, just being passed by the mighty Mustang, unfortunately on the wrong side of that one. But that's what can happen. Can he get that car going again? Come on, son, fire the up, get her going. There she goes. And happy days. And again, a big shout out to Brett Hogan from Karma Auto Parts. As you said, George, he's sponsoring that beautiful red and blue car that you saw in that ad clip there, the 43 Holden HQ of Roxanne with the Lexus Power, as well as real-time sponsorship. He's also investing into here on the sim racing rigs of the AUSNZ race series here.
Battle between HC Lewis and Al Dusty. Things are certainly spicing up for these two teams. A lot of damage on the front of that 543 car, of course. And another question as well, as El Staffia in chat just asking as well, wondering about who pitted when. Well, in terms of the top 3, Mint, Matt and Twitchy are on the fresh tyres. Jeesh is on old tyres. He's been going since the 1 hour and 10 mark. The others have been going for about 30 minutes so far, so they are on the fresher tyres as we continue to watch what is unfolding to be an absolutely epic battle. Tracksport TV, go and check us out on www.tracksport.tv if you need broadcasting or commentary or work on OBS or multi-streaming or graphics and animation or hype videos. Here goes Al Dusty, here we go! Oh, the little look up the inside of the crocodiles, but he's not able to make it work just yet, and I think HC Lewis is really looking slow at this stage of the race, and it's probably a matter of when, not if.
I'll say it for the 3rd time, the 2000 IQ choice that they made. Did they need to take that risk? I don't know, because I think they were really doing a good job anyway. Oh, we just see the big understeer there from Lewis.
Oh, gosh, he's really struggling on these tyres now. I mean, he's got a really good brake. The Ferrari is always fantastic on its brakes, and the Ford just can't match that, but it's getting such a better run through most most of these corners, and there we go. They're side by side now through the apex. This could be it. Oh, Lewis is squeezing him a bit too wide into Cheetah. What are they doing? Oh, they're actually staying too wide. Oh, to the space program nearly for the Ford Mustang, but Al Dusty holds on. Absolutely incredible racing. Oh, geez, talk about being on the edge of my seat.
But a very good communicator, and if you don't know, and if he doesn't know, he'll find out, and he'll tell you that he doesn't know. That's what I really like about it. But then to actually see him, like, for the next 4 hours, or the last 4 hours, he hasn't had to be the organiser. He's a race car driver, and that's exactly what he loves. George, we've got less than 3 minutes to go, mate. Let's wrap this one up. Let's bring it home here at Kyalami in South Africa.
Going to stay solidly on the ground, and this will be it. Checkered flag is out. He's going to do the sweep left and right and back and forth, the flash of the lights, I'm sure. And Jeesh and BCR1 with Captain Muffin are going to be your race victors today as Matt Denetti comes across the line and takes 5th position. Mickey T will take 11th position, win there. Smitty will win the battle for Pro-Am. He's come across the line beautifully, and that is it. A huge points advantage now for him over the 369 team. Mint Matt, what an absolute race between him and the rest of the field, and Simon Bishop did a huge amount of lifting during this, but boy oh boy, BCG3 one do deserve that second position race. OP Twitchy gets third position. What's happened with Jimbo? Has he got 13th place? Oh, they're still going. We're going to watch this one to the end of the line. We know who the top three are. We're going to keep an eye, because is there going to be a late send by Jimbo? He's going to try it down the inside into Ingwer, but it's around the outside, the defense for the number 2. He'll take the position, P13. That is it. The race is over. Fantastic stuff by these two, separated by 0.1 of a second at the end of a 4-hour race. It's absolutely phenomenal. BCG2 coming across the line through the dust and the smoke of the fireworks for 4th position, and what an absolute race. Let's have some donuts. TCS off, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if they can do it a little bit better than last time. Did Jeesh learn the lesson from Mike Howe? I'm not sure, because he's still going in a straight line. Get that car turned. We want to see some donuts. The wet qualifying really set the stage for what became a fantastic sprint all the way to the end of the 4 hours. And take care, stay safe, and we'll see you for the next one. Bye-bye.